Uh, it's Friday night, and since I'm not going to do a late night workout, well, I am going to do some calisthenics after this. But since I'm not going outside to work out, and I had to skip the gym for a week, we're going to do a Ask Me Anything format today. So we're not going to do a specific topic. People always want to come up with random stuff to talk about, so here's your chance to ask me random thoughts that you guys be having all week long. And I say, save it for the Ask Me Anything day or drop me a super chat and I'll answer your questions. And people always think that I'm just going to answer anything on the days that I have specific, like topics that I wanted to discuss, but aren't willing to drop the super chat. So here's your day. You can talk to me here. Hey, Mahal, what's up? So this is Ask Me Anything Friday, and I called it Ask Me Anything Friday Part Two, Electric Boogaloo, as a riff on Breaking Two Electric Boogaloo, which a lot of movies and TV shows have made fun of for like the last 40 years, and also because I did it last week, so doing it again this week. I do a Ask Me Anything format usually once a week, sometimes twice a week, but usually at least once a week, but it's not on the same day. That's why I said this is Friday part two, Electric Boogaloo, because sometimes it's on Saturdays, sometimes it's on Sundays. Um, then it can be on any given day of the week, just whenever I feel like. So you guys can ask me anything. However, per usual, trolls will be ignored, banned, or timed out. And I have Mrs. Contrarian here to help me do so because I know it's Friday night. It's gonna be a lot of trolls here, so never heard of it, Timmy. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you there. Never heard of that. And I have no problem ending this early because I'm trying to watch Justice League Crisis on Earth's Part 3 that came out last month. Since it's the end of the DC animated movie universe, at least the second arc of it, which is the Tomorrowverse. So I think under James Gunn, they're going to start a whole new DC animated movie universe. But it's the end of the second arc, the Tomorrowverse. So, and the Tomorrowverse hasn't been very good, to be honest. Ricky says, "Yo, what's up?" Say, "Stay healthy always. I believe in staying fit." I don't have tips to sleep. If you want to learn how to sleep, stay up until you're tired and then go to sleep. If you have a problem with that, then go see a doctor. V2 raise Trump or Biden. Biden isn't running for office anymore. So where have you been for the last 2 months? Mahal, you can time out some ban some of these trolls because some of them are just stupid. There's gonna be a lot of trolls tonight, Mrs. Contrarian. It's Friday night, and these losers don't have anything else better to do with themselves than to come onto live streams and bother people. We can time them out. You say you're from Germany. Even people from Germany know that Biden has stepped down. One of my friends over there in Germany, Miss Needle, uh, we talk on here all the time. They're aware of what's going on in American politics. Mrs. Contrarian, are you there? Because there's a lot of little trolls on here right now. Thank you. Thank you, Dion. Thanks, Mrs. Contrarian, for catching these idiots. And the dude said he was 14. Anyone, I don't want anyone under, look, anyone under 18, I really don't want you in my chat room. Sorry. I don't feel like talking with little kids. Go talk with your parents. Go ask your mother where your father is. Nameless is in the Middle East. We have a traditional food with the name Harris. Mm. Hope it tastes better than the name. Ms. Contrarian, can you get that Carlos guy out of here? I'm gonna get this other one myself. Hello, Lavender Miss. Joe says hi from UK. What's up, Joe? I'm guessing things settled down in the UK since the riots about the three girls who were unalived. So anyway, the Ask Me Any Question format means questions of. I'm gonna have to start qualifying my titles here because some of you are just morons. When I say ask me anything, I mean ask me anything of substance, not just random thought vomit, like actual questions of substance, intellectual questions, questions about or just random questions of things going on, current events, stuff like that. Not weird shit. Uh, says hello, greetings from city of Kabul, Afghanistan. What's up? Hope you're safe out there. And Lavender Miss, I usually don't do this, but I'll say, happy birthday to you if today is actually your birthday. Then, you know, hope you have a good celebration. Um, Give me a second, guys. What are your thoughts on marriage? Well, I'm currently married. My wife is playing the moderator right now, so I'm an advocate of it. But I'm not an advocate of marriage in America. I think you are making a big mistake if you get married in America. You are rolling the figurative dice on you ending up in a divorce and losing everything in divorce court. I think for American men or men from other westernized nations like the UK and France, France, they've made paternity tests illegal because paternity, false paternity is so high in France that France has decided to make paternity tests illegal so as not to break up families. But as far as I'm concerned, these families are already broken because you are making a man, you are cuckolding these husbands to these bitches who are giving them children that don't belong to them and making it illegal for them to find out. Even the at, even the home paternity test you can buy, usually at least in America, like at the pharmacies, those are illegal. The only way you can get one if it's court ordered. So if you live in a westernized nation, I would not believe in marriage. I would say but you should get married. What you should do is exercise your options with a woman who's not from a westernized country. Otherwise, you're better off staying single in America, the UK, France, probably Australia too. Um, do you believe though? Believe in what? You saying do you believe in what? Are you asking me? Do I believe? Joe Rogers is here coming to kids with their stupid questions. Yeah, I hope they're kids because some of them aren't, Joe. That's the problem. Well, some of these are fully grown adults who are just special. Let's put it that way. They're special. Talia Y says hi. What's up, Talia? Was member the person asking me about the aliens, or was that someone else? Neil says the world has changed so much so quickly. Not really. Depends on what you are talking about changing. I mean, in 4.5 billion years, you should expect some change. If you're talking about humanity in 200,000 years, I should expect some change too. Like Asian, what you gotta, if you ask a question, you gotta string together a grammatical question, or I can't answer something if you ask like part of it in the string, like I mean in the upper part of the chat, and then you break it off into a second part later on, because when I'm scrolling through, I'm not going to remember the first part of what you said, so just put it in one sentence. That makes it easier. Team Blaha Iron Fitness says I'm about to drive by. Well, I'm in Baltimore, so go ahead and try. Y'all keep your keep your little silly ass way out in Arkansas, wherever the fuck you are, or more likely in Mumbai, India, or Nigeria. Anyway, oh, Joe, they're getting blocked. My wife, Mrs. Contrarian, is blocking them as it comes along, and so am I. How good your grits are? I don't, um, I don't eat grits as that often, but I eat the instant kind, so not really a thing. Am I religious? No, not really. Not at well, no, not at all. So George is hi to the Mrs. Things. She's in the chat. She's just helping me moderate. Um, and to get back to nameless, I'm not religious, but I don't have anything against people whom are. But not, that's not my path. I only believe in following rational beliefs. Oh, Mrs. Katran says Mahal. I think Nameless was asking about getting married with Asians. Um, yeah, I mean, my wife is Asian. I'm married to her. Yes, I believe. Yes, I think they are. I think overall, Asians are wifey material, particularly overseas. The Americanized ones here, not so much. Once you get to like third and fourth generation Asians, there there's nothing uniquely Asian about them anymore, culturally speaking, not ethnically speaking. Obviously, I'm talking about like culturally, like thir- once they're like third and fourth generation, like there's they've been so acculturated that there's no difference. Yeah. Um, like I said, I wouldn't date like I wouldn't marry here in America. Just my views because you're the like divorce is becoming so common here now that people are throwing divorce parties now. Divorce parties. That's ridiculous. They're throwing divorce parties. So, uh, I would say it's not so much the ethnicity of the women who make that you should marry. It's their cultural values. So people who come from more traditional base cultures in America will probably be better wifey material than those who are like hyper individualistic. And some of these Asian women, the ones like they, especially like in California, uh-uh. And you know what I'm talking about, the SoCal, Southern California types. Uh-uh. Don't do it. Joe says it's been nice to meet you. I'm gonna stroll the tube. Stay safe. Thanks, Joe. Hope you come back. No, not go to Saints or Raiders. I don't watch NFL, so I have no preference. Confidential Redacted says, "Good morning, brother. I'm from the southern province of Tugan in Southeast Asia." Where's Tugan? I haven't heard of that. Mahal, do you know where Tugan is? Or is this guy, was that like a joke? I'm not currently in the Philippines, but I do visit there. Joe says, "Night, guys. Stay safe." Thank you, Joe. Thank you for being the sane voice here, too, by the way. Uh, uh. So Tugon got me with one, with a joke. But it doesn't really work Tugon these nuts. Like, you're stretching it, which is what she said. He made it up, Mrs. Contrarian. He was trying to make a these nuts joke, but it wasn't even funny. Like most of these people in the chat room, I, I'm afraid are under 18, so they're kind of retarded. Like teenagers think they're saying something clever that we've been doing for like the last 30 years. And it's like they're fucking retarded. The Gen Z in general are kind of retarded because their average IQ is lower than the past few generations. And for the men who are Gen Z, their testosterone levels are lower than all the past generations. So they're both effeminate and stupid. So they're on a path to oblivion. The only thing that will save them is probably a global war. Draketh Namakazi says, my wife and I have been married since 2008 from CDO. Okay. But yeah, guys, so I'm looking like for genuine questions. I've got a few, but like, yeah, genuine questions, intellectual questions, pop culture questions. I'll even take personal questions if they're appropriate, if and only if they're appropriate. Um, oh, Kage and Oro. Okay, okay. I didn't know that's what CDO meant. Yeah. Ms. Contrarian was telling me about that because I asked her, was that safe since it's in Mindanao? And she said it is actually safe for foreigners to go to. So that is a place I want to go to. Cagayan de Oro and of course do what's the city, Mahal? Uh, the Davao to the Davao city. So Davao, Cagayan de Oro, and Siargao. I think those are the three places. Yeah, Davao. Are there any other safe places in Mindanao, Mrs. Contrarian? Or those are the three main places: Cagayan de Oro, Davao, Siargao Island. Because most of the other places I was thinking of were Mindanao were actually in the Visayas. Like those places like Dumaguete and all those other places were in the Visayas. So just those three places. Okay, that's fine with me. Although, like I said, I wouldn't mind doing a drive through Mindanao to get up to Luzon if I have to do so. They said Mrs. Katrina says I'm going to Dinagat Islands next month, and I don't even know if I'm saying these words correctly. Hendrik Hefner Makai says the vowel's also good. That's where the president is from, Duterte, the former president. Um, the current guy is Bong Bong Marcos, who's the son of the former Ferdinand Marcos Sr., the former dictator from the 70s. Um, but his daughter is Vice President Sarah Duterte, and apparently she's beefing with the president because the president is also beefing with the former president. They've been back and forth insulting each other, calling each other junkies and other sorts of stuff. So, Ms. Contrarian says there are other safe cities there in Mindanao, like Bhutan, Zamboanga, and Dipolog. Yeah, I've heard of those too. I just didn't know whether they were safe. Draquette says, and his wife, the shoe queen, Imelda Marcos. Yeah, I remember that all the shoes she had, and I remember them talking about that. I mean, I guess that you can do that when you've stolen billions from the government and you pass it down to your children. Juicy Jumbo says hello from Tennessee. What's up? But yeah, I remember the whole thing about the shoes. That's funny. Wasn't there also paintings too? Like she had a whole bunch of expensive paintings. I remember the shoes, but I thought it was like also like paintings and stuff that she had as well. And people were like, how could they afford that unless it was true that? Well, of course it was true. Like it's cataloged in the Guinness Book of World Records. And the son, who's the current president, was just like, we turned in. He said we turned over all the money we still had, and he was like, I don't. We can't account for the rest of the money. So when are you going to those islands, Mahal? Dumiget is nice. I wouldn't visit Zamboanga. It is too close to the rebels. Abu Saif. Oh, it is. Yeah, yeah. I'm not rocking with them. They like to kidnap people. I've seen how they get down, and then it is, and they kidnap me. I'm just gonna end up dying because I know there's no one in my family that's gonna be kicking out thousands of dollars for me. I already know that. Like my family is not the type. Um, this contrarian says, "Yep, art pieces and other assets that have been frozen." Yep. Sigma tried to troll me. Said, "Why are you black?" He should ask his mother why she likes getting blacked. Is they kid? I know they kidnap foreigners. They like to kidnap both Americans and Chinese nationals and Europeans, of course, because they think they can get money for them. Mrs. Contreras isn't going back to Mindanao September 22nd through 26th. So right around my birthday. So I guess Marcus wasn't right that you were trying to plan me a surprise birthday party. But no, he was actually saying that was from years ago. So I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think you did that. Um, he laughing at what I said to that guy, the troll, Mrs. Contrarian. Drake says it is funny that the Philippines would would reelect the Marcos after what happened with Ferdinand. Right, we all said that. Like we all like, are they serious? It shows like that people make bad political decisions all over the globe. It's not unique to America. It's not unique to the UK. It's everywhere. Like people make bad political decisions everywhere because the average person is not politically informed enough to make good decisions on whom to lead their country. This is literally why the founding fathers of America decided that there should be an electoral vote process instead of a popular vote for president, because they didn't think the average man would be politically informed enough to make informed decisions on whom should lead the country. Covered. I'm sorry. Oh, you said no. I was laughing about Marcus. Oh, where what's wrong with my audio, guys? Like I'm not even touching it. Is everything okay with it now? So I'm not even touching the. I, I don't even have my hand over the audio. Can you guys hear me? Mic check 1 2 1 2. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think he's probably watching right now because he said he's usually available to watch him at night, not the early morning, like not the earlier evening, late afternoon shows. But yeah, it was probably another friend of his that messaged him and he confused it for me because I know neither you nor my selfish ex planned anything for me for a birthday because I would have been heard about it by now. No, Marcus is a friend of mine in real time. He's not a troll. So, Drakaith, are you Filipino or you an American married to a Filipina? Get some water, guys. I'm hiding. I'm kind of dehydrated. Most people know I'm always dehydrated because I'm always working out and it's hot. And I'm currently in my grandmother's house, and she keeps the air on low. Like she likes it hot in the house. Like you would think we were of a different ethnicity. I was gonna say something else, but I'm gonna be nice. You would think we were of a different ethnicity, but I like it chill in the house. I like a AC around, I don't know, 67 degrees. Oh, American. Okay. So, but my wife and I are abnormal because she's older than me. Hey, I mean, it's nothing. I won't say it's abnormal. I mean, here in America, like they shame guys for dating younger women anyway. So, if anything, you're normal here in America. It would be abnormal overseas. In America, it would probably be normal. But at least I was told. So Mrs. Contrarian, I was told by Miss Needle that the trolls that come through is actually not like actually the norm for live streams because she said she goes to other live streams and they're just as riddled with trolls as my streams are. So it's not something unique to mine. It's just all these losers jump from streams to streams harassing people because they have nothing else better to do, and they probably get banned from one channel, so they just hop on another just to cause chaos. They just sound like people who are very low IQ individuals who have nothing else better to do with themselves. These are the people. These are the reasons why prostitution should be legal, so these little incels can have pleasure from women that they probably can't get voluntarily. Triquet says, I mean, compared to the typical foreigner marriages, older white guy, younger Filipino girl. Right, right, right. That's true. My wife is significantly younger than me as well, but I think she enjoys that fact. Um, and you said she is from Mindanao, right? Pila. What's Pila? You saying Panay? Is that's like Panay? Uh, you can bounce. Yeah, thanks for he's a weirdo, Mrs. Contrarian. Like he was the guy in my stream with Miss Needle. If you watched it, I don't know, but he was asking like random just schizophrenic questions, and you can tell from you could tell he's schizo. Like social media platforms, like these YouTube live streams, attract a lot of people who have mental disorders. How much younger? About 14 years younger, but I'm 46, so. um, and then and I also have another regular guy who comes through. Haven't seen him in the last few days, so I'm hoping he's all right. Um, he he's living in Thailand. Another former veteran. He's living in Thailand. He has a Thai wife, so similar situation. Like age gap relationships are the norm overseas in those places. Drakesh says my wife said the rule is no younger than half the age plus 7. That rule's made up. That rule's made up. No, that's not a real thing. Um, like there's no given rule. Like Al Pacino he's not a good example, but Al Pacino just had a wife. I mean, just had a child, and he's like 90. with someone who's like in her 30s. So, eh, I mean, it's completely subjective. He said all rules are made up. That's just hers. Yeah. Big Erm says I could give it some insight into the troll mindset. Is depending on the channel. That's the angle I take. I, I don't know. I mean, from what I understand, they they plague every live stream. It's not mine. It's not. They're not unique to my live stream. Like they frequent any live stream where there's not a bottleneck on whom can participate. But since I'm doing a mobile live stream, which is pretty much open to anyone, there's no bottleneck on it. So of course, there's gonna be a lot of trolls. But if it was like a selective a selective audience, then that would be different. But you don't typically want a selective audience when you're doing like a live stream, unless unless you have a unless it's a very niche thing. Big Arm says, "Yeah, I like it here and only come at you with respect when seeking insight. Other channels, I really don't mind to be weird." Yeah, like I said, so this is my ask me anything format for tonight. So I invite people to ask me random questions. Like I said, as long as they're appropriate, I don't mind. Skillet Water says back again. Cheers. What's up? Thank you, Skillet Water, for the donation. Big ups for that. Thank you. And guys, that's how you leave a super chat. But big shout out to Skillet Water. Skillet, tell us again where what part of the world you hail from, if you don't mind. Hyper Viper says, "How do you feel about 2 trillion galaxies?" Uh, I don't know. I don't have any feelings about it as far as my thoughts. It's kind of those sort of numbers are kind of hard to imagine. Like I can conceive of 2 trillion galaxies, but can I really imagine that? Like it's not. I don't think something like that is imaginable by most, if anyone. I think it leaves possibility for there being all sorts of different types of planets out there, and possibly even other life forms, possibly. But other than that, I don't have any serious thoughts about the 2 trillion galaxy thing. What more interests me is some of the different phenomena in space and the age and the age and origins of the universe. That sort of stuff interests me, which is called cosmology, the study of the origins and structure of the universe. Um, yeah, Skillet rocks, guys. Thanks. Yeah, Big Arm, you're completely right, my man. Joe Celestia says, "Can I get a shout out? I subscribe." What's up, Joe? Thanks for subscribing. Hope you rock with me on some of these future live streams. Also, I have a bunch of long form pre-recorded videos that you can check out. I actually am about to upload one after this stream that my friend and I did earlier. It's a little, the video's a bit spicy. I warn you, but it's take it and take it with humor as to be. It's meant to be humorous. Okay. Skilla says USA living in Alabama right now. Okay. So I'm glad you mentioned that because I was saying, at least in a few other live streams, Skillet, that it's a bunch of overlooked states in the country that I want to visit before I move out of country permanently. Like I've lived overseas, but I plan on doing it permanently. But before I do so, there's a lot of states I find overlooked, so-called flyover states that I like to visit, like Alabama, like Mississippi, like Tennessee, um, like those parts, those parts that, in Kentucky, those parts they label Appalachia, right? So I want to visit those states here on the eastern part of the United States, and on the western part of the United States, there's a bunch of um, states I want to visit that most people don't frequent, but have be- just beautiful scenery and have native reservations and stuff like that, like Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, those sort of. So Arkansas is also. I mean, sorry, why I keep saying Alabama is on the list. Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky. Those are the sort of places I actually would like to drive through and stop by and maybe be able to see like the like local restaurants, local historical sites and stuff like that. Big Erm says I'm on the other end of North America up in Canada. Okay. You said the other end, so are you closer towards like the Vancouver side? Jay says there's a greater chance there are aliens than not. So you probably referring to the Drake equation. I'm guessing you're referring to the famous Drake equation where if you plug in certain things, it can tell you like the probability of life on other planets. The problem with that, but and I'm assuming you're talking about the Drake equation. If you're not talking about the Drake's equation or you don't even know what it is, I apologize. But for those who are aware of it, the problem with the Drake equation, which like you can plug in numbers and they'll tell you like the probability of life on other planets depending on like the numbers you put in for the planets, the galaxies, the stars, yada yada yada. The problem with that is that the values are completely arbitrary. Because the values are completely arbitrary, it's like what is like is you're basically just speculating. It's just speculation using numbers. That's all it is, the Drake's equation. Because none of the value there's no concrete values that make up that equation. They're all arbitrary. You literally just plug in whatever numbers you want. That's the problem with the Drake's equation. And then even if we set aside the Drake's equation and just say, okay, well, there's trillions of there's like trillions of stars more than there are grains of sand, right? Even if we say that, we can't we still it still doesn't lead to it still doesn't necessarily lead us to the conclusion that there are planets teeming with life outside of Earth, because we only have one example from which to draw, which is the Earth. You can't draw like in in probability. You you can't draw you can't draw conclusions from one individual example, right? So that's why we can't say that there's a greater chance that there are aliens that are not, because we're literally only basing that on one individual probability, which is the Earth. We don't have any others from which to draw to make that conclusion. So it just becomes a matter of speculation whether there is or not. Would it be more exciting if there are more aliens? Absolutely. If I mean if there was life outside of Earth, of course that would be more exciting. But we don't have neither the evidence nor the uh, license to inference there being life somewhere else yet, but we'll see. Skeleton, and I think what's really crazy is the statistics about there being more trees in the world than there being galaxies in the universe. I haven't heard the tree thing. I've heard sand, like grains of sand. Like they said there's more. Was it grain? I'm sorry. Let me make sure I get my metaphors correctly. I think they said there are more. It was either grains of sand or something like that than stars in the galaxy or something like that. But I don't want to mix that up. So if someone wants to fact check that, I appreciate it. Big Ernest says, oddly enough, I just put on Alien. Anyone with stars could watch it right now. Okay, that's what's up. My friend and I were actually discussing it too because he was asking me what's my favorite Ridley Scott films, and I was like, I don't have any favorites. I said I do like Alien and Aliens, which is part two, but I was like I'm not a huge Ridley Scott um, buff, but I appreciate his films. I said I've stopped watching after Alien 4 because all the other films in the franchise took it away from the horror element, which was like the part the part of Aliens that drew people in. Like once they started making stuff like Alien Covenant and uh and all these other films, like they had nothing to do with horror anymore. They were just like these little sci-fi sabbaticals that had nothing to do with the original stuff. Um, and then there was the only stuff I watched after Alien 4, which I think Alien 4 was Insurrection, I think. But only thing I watched after Alien 4, which was the last one that had Sigourney Weaver in it, was Alien versus Predator 1 and 2, because those were like just those were just like popcorn, like little popcorn flicks, right? People wanted to see their favorite their favorite monsters battle each other. Skilla says if you look into weird places like that, I recommend the triangle of the Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee border. I place noted. Okay, triangle of Georgia, Alabama, and Tennessee. Okay, I didn't know they intersected like that. Okay, bigger answers without being getting specific. I'm in Ontario. Okay, yeah, you don't have to get more specific than that. Ontario's cool. Um, funny. So shout out to the Fung Brothers they have a great YouTube channel. They just listed off the safest cities in the world, and Toronto made the list. I did not think Toronto would make the list, but it kind of shows that Drake is full of shit because he was acting like he got Toronto was like all hood whatever. Nah, not when it's like one of the safest cities in the world. Like, of course, Singapore was number one. Everyone expected that. Then Tokyo was number two, which are also the places with the most powerful passports, Singapore and Japan. Recently, Japan was booted down to number two because it was originally number one, the most powerful passport. They went down to number two, and Singapore shot up to number one. But after Singapore and Tokyo, it was I forgot the the third one, but I'm gonna just list off the ones they mentioned. They mentioned like Copenhagen, Denmark, Amsterdam, Netherlands, Toronto, Canada, Osaka, Japan, and other places in Japan, of course, makes sense. Um, where else? No place in the United States. No surprise there. um, it's one I'm forgetting. Mm, but in any case, yeah, I'm thinking Ontario wouldn't be a bad place to live. And it listed off some of the worst places. One was like that place in Myanmar or Burma. I forgot the name of it, but it's one of the major cities where all that stuff is going on. No surprise there. Um, Surprisingly, Manila made the list of like most dangerous cities. And I'm sorry, I feel way safer in Manila than I do in my home city of Baltimore. But that's probably me as a foreigner. That may not, the safety I feel in Manila may not translate to locals. I'm not sure. Mrs. Contrarian could speak on that. But I literally feel way safer in Manila than I've ever felt in Baltimore. Died in 9666 wants to disagree about Ontario. I have no dog in that hunt because I haven't been there. The chicken foot monster. What, I never heard of that. Big Erm says it's incredibly expensive to live here. The average home price in my city will be around 450K US dollars, and I live in a fairly undesirable area. Really? So again, that just goes against Drake. I'm sorry, this goes against Drake. He was living in one of the safest places and an expensive place. So he wanted to challenge a guy who literally grew up, born and raised in Compton, and is a Pyru. He wanted to challenge that man on street cred. That was a horrible decision on his part. I haven't seen I haven't seen a Canadian rapper get played out so hard from an American rapper since Cannabis and LL Cool J. And if you say who's Cannabis, I'm gonna say exactly. You don't remember Cannabis because LL ended his career. um, he said Drake is approximately 1 hour from here. Uh, I don't live in a major city. Okay, fair enough. That's fair. Yeah, I'm not doing that to stand off the grid. I don't know why they try Big Erm. Like I said, bro, we grew up in the era of like watching The Simpsons, where almost every episode Bart would troll Moe's tavern by trying to call into the tavern and trick Moe into saying something crazy over the phone. Like, and we were the generate well, my generation, Gen X. We grew up like prank calling people or going um inward knocking on people's doors. um Then we even had TV shows that made fun of prank calling, called like shows like Crank Yankers and other things like that. Like our whole generation grew up like doing inappropriate stuff. So you're not gonna catch me slipping. I don't know why they try. It's like obviously they must be under the age of 21 to think they're gonna catch me slipping or something like that. Big Arm says it's funny. We were talking about trolling earlier. I'm familiar with Off the Grid, and his favorite thing is making fun of special needs people. He's he's probably special needs himself. I found that a lot of people who make fun of people with special needs tend to be people of moderate special needs themselves, because I don't have anything against special needs people. If anything, um, like so for instance, like people of Down syndrome who suffer Down syndrome, they're some of this one of the side effects of their cognitive disability is that they have a childlike disposition. So they're they can be they can be quite sweet. Like if you know, for people who have to like work with them as like rehabilitation counselors and stuff like that. Um I wouldn't make fun of special needs people. I make fun of people who are just stupid, which means they're not um, clinically retarded. They're just below average intelligence. These are the sort of people who fall under the Dunning Kruger effect because they're too stupid to know that they're not bright. Like because they can't even tell. So, and I'm pretty sure that he's one of these people. Big Ernst says trolls knows trolls exactly. I'm gonna just time him out. He's pointless. Skilla says the chicken foot monster is also known as the white thing of Alabama. No, so I'm guessing for Alabama that's like y'all equivalent of like so in like the New Jersey Devil, like in New Jersey, you can you do not argue with someone in New Jersey who believes in the New Jersey Devil because they'll tell you straight up if you're not from New Jersey, you can't tell us the New Jersey Devil doesn't exist, despite it being a very obvious like crypto cryptozoology. Excuse me, let me get the word correctly. Cryptozoological creature. Cryptozoology refers to all the supposed um, uh, creatures out there that people have reported for decades or maybe even centuries, but we've never found proof that they actually exist. So Yetis, Bigfoot, Chupacabra, New Jersey Devil, unicorns, Loch Ness monster, and apparently the chicken foot monster. All of these fall under the aegis of cryptozoology. Um, and some of them have already been thoroughly debunked. Loch Ness monster has been thoroughly debunked. Um, Bigfoot has been thoroughly debunked. All the so-called evidence people find for Bigfoot is usually the signs of a brown bear. Big Arm says, I'll admit I'm a troll, but when my perception of a live stream is that the person doesn't have the capacity to understand they're being trolled, I won't go there. Hmm. Fair. Skillet says, I'm going to bed now. I'm leaving a tip on my way out. I appreciate it again, Skillet Water. Thank you, my man. I appreciate it. Big shout out to Skillet for the super chat. That's how you do it, guys. But yeah, I've never heard of the chicken foot monster. That's a new one. I bet you if I went through my old Skeptical Inquirer magazines, it's probably been mentioned before, and I just don't remember it. But I didn't make that thing up, guys. What I said, cryptozoology is like the study of alleged species that people have talked about in like folk tales and urban legends and stuff like that. So stuff like so things like the New Jersey Devil, the chicken foot monster, Yetis, Bigfoot, um, the abominable snowmen, unicorns, chupacabra, um, uh, shapeshifters, because the indigenous American Indians have all sorts of certain beliefs in certain creatures. Like one of a common one is shapeshifters. Thanks, Big Erm. I appreciate it, man. So cheers to a level head in a sea of nonsense. Thank you so much. I appreciate it a lot. And I always try to keep it rational here, but like I said, I'll entertain any question that's appropriate. But if people come in here with some craziness, I try to set them straight if I can. If it's someone I know I can't reason with, then I'll just time them out. But I appreciate it a lot. Oh yeah, yeah. We'll definitely talk again. Please hit me up on my streams. They're usually around the same time, usually a little bit earlier, around 8, 9 p.m. But if but I'll but if it's 10 p.m., I'll definitely still be on live streaming. Um, Jake the Muss is whom are you voting for? So I've actually mentioned this, and I don't mind mentioning it again. So I've probably even said who I'm gonna vote for like 50 or more times, but uh, I'm heading towards Trump unless something happens. Otherwise, I'm heading towards Trump. Al Karaki says thoughts on Palestine. You gotta be a little bit more specific, like thoughts on what about Palestine exactly. Yes, Trump. Um, but guys, I appreciate Skillet Water, appreciate Big Erm. Big shout outs to both of them for the super chat contributions. Mrs. Contrarian, you still here? Mm. But yep, Jake. Like I say, I have a bunch of other videos too. If you want to watch them, I talk both. Well, I have some YouTube shorts and I have some long form videos, and I give like a long, long discussion of like some of my political views. Hyper Viper says I think Trump will lose again. Thank thank you a lot, Jake the Muss. I appreciate it. He said yes, good answer. Not from America, but we need Trump. I could totally agree, man. Totally agree. um, we do need him. Um, and to address what Hyper Viper said to us, Jake the Muss, he says I think Trump will lose again. You got to remember, Hyper Viper, that was a really close election, very close. As far as him losing again, I'm sorry, I highly doubt he's going to lose to Harris. The reason being is that you got to remember back in 2020, she lost in the beginning of the Democratic primaries. She lost her own state. She lost her own state, California. And I know a lot of folks in California, particularly people from the Bay Area, saying they're not going to vote for her. So we'll see. I mean, you could be right because right now, as of the last time I've checked the polls, they said that they are in a dead heat 50-50. But there's still a long way till November, a long way to November. And we got to remember at the end of the day, it's going to be the electoral vote that decides it, not the popular vote. So he could lose the popular vote like he did in 2016 and still win the election if he wins the electoral vote. So you got to remember that. He might win, he might lose the popular vote like he did in 2016, but he may still win the electoral vote and thereby and thereby um, get the election. Either way, I think it is going to be close. It's going to be a close election. Unfortunately, it's going to be close. But I think he's going to win. I seriously think he's going to win. I mean, if people disagree, that's fine. They can disagree. But it's gonna be close, and I think he's gonna win. BSK is back. What's up, BSK? Now I know you said you're not from America, Jake the Muss. What country are you actually from? Australia. Okay. I get actually quite a few followers from Australia. I know one from Sydney, one from what's the one that starts the city that starts with a W? Um, I forgot. Sorry, but yeah, I got a few followers from Australia. Reggie says, "Hello, how's your week been?" It's been okay, kind of uneventful, but I guess uneventful can be better than eventful because some events aren't good ones, right? But it's been fair so far. I went out to happy hour earlier, and I don't know, is it just me, guys? It did not feel like Friday today. Like probably also the happy hour I went to is not that great because it's in Baltimore. The better happy hours are in DC, not Baltimore. Volume is super low. I'm sorry. Let me check that. All right. Let me actually get this closer. My bad on that, guys. Sorry. I'm yeah, guys. If the audio is bad, let me know immediately so I can rectify that. Um, what I should probably do, I should just buy a mic. Mrs. Contrarian said the volume is fine on my end. Thank you. Already says, hope you have an amazing weekend. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hope you do as well. Hyper Viper said it's good. Thank you. I was thinking maybe I had the phone too far apart from me because the speaker and the mic are at the bottom of the phone, except instead of at the top like the older phones do. Oh, you're welcome. Where you from, Reggie? If you don't mind telling us. Okay, okay, little Poncho, calm down. Reggie says from Kansas. Okay, another one of the like I said overlooked states that I should probably take a visit to sometime. Mrs. Contrarian, I was gonna ask you. Oh, any? Do you got any questions, Mrs. Contrarian? Oh, don't forget, I want the chismis after we get off the live stream. I want the chismis about work. These guys are on some fugazi stuff, so wonder if I should time these clowns out. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I want the chismis. You had me all waiting all day long to hear this gossip. Now I want to hear, so I need to hear this office gossip. Where am I from? I'm currently in Baltimore, Maryland. Pascal is back. He says Bonjour de France. Comment ça va, Pascal? Bugged enough, dump it. It says this woman needs a wig. I don't know where you guys are getting women from, but carry on, and you will find yourself banned from the channel. You said Baltimore has bald woman. Ask your mother; she should know. Anywho, je suis abonné à vous. That's good. You're doing well. C'est bon. Um, Reggie Morris says, I love Maryland because it's beautiful and the Ravens. Parts of Baltimore are. Some parts you should avoid, like both. Well, okay, I'll be fair to I'm not going to dog out Baltimore today. There are some nice parts of Baltimore. You come to the you come to the Inner Harbor, Fells Point, places like that. But there's been a ratcheting up of quality of life crimes amongst particularly the Baltimore youth, and the current leadership here doesn't want to do anything about it. So I, I wouldn't recommend tourists to come to Baltimore, but other parts of Maryland are just great. Like places outside of DC, or you can go to like Western Maryland. Like that's the area where people go, especially during the winter months for skiing and hunting. Or you can go to Ocean City during the summer for our beaches. Um, then you have other parts of Southern Maryland that are nice. Um, but yeah, so I guess you've been to Maryland before. But yeah, it's not all bad. It's just I guess you appreciate places less when you actually live there for a long time. I was actually mentioning France earlier, Pascal. I was actually saying that I probably wouldn't get married there because they've banned paternity tests there because there's so much false paternity in France. So, um, but but I plan on coming to France though. I I was supposed to go many years ago when I was in Germany when I was still in the army. Um, Unfortunately, my friends went and I didn't because I was not on that trip with them. excuse me, excuse me. But I will be going down as civilian and taking my wife, Mrs. Contrarian, with me. So I do want to see France, particularly Paris, Paris, um, maybe some other places in southern France. Like southern France is really nice. Like guys, southern France is dope. Like southern France is like has like a touch of it's I don't know. It's like a pretty nice. Like if you think of like places like Italy and Spain, that's what southern France is like. I definitely want to visit the Sorbonne. Here someone's bringing up something spicy. So JR says we'll never vote for geriatric felon. Vote blue. You are speaking for yourself, my friend. And you said geriatric felon. You realize Biden was much older than him, right? Well, 2 years older, but so what? He's old. He's still functioning cognitively well. No, and no, frankly, no one cares that he's a felon. Every president has been a every president has been a criminal since the very first president, George Washington. Some of you, this is why it's good being a history nerd. every every president has been a criminal. Not all of them have been convicted of being criminals, but all of them have committed crimes while in office, or sometimes even after leaving office. All of them, all of them. I don't care if he's a convicted felon. He was convicted of a felon of something so minor, no one cares. He wasn't convicted of a war crime. He was convicted of a crime of bribing bribing a bitch that was trying to, inter- that he had supposedly an affair with and didn't want to mess up his marriage. Okay. Were you all talking about vote blue when Bill Clinton got impeached for screwing Monica Lewinsky? Guess not. So again, you can vote for whomever you like, Jr. But unless you're using the royal we in the sense of the British crown, you're speaking for yourself, my friend. Reggie says, "Man, hope you have a good night and stay safe. Appreciate it. I think thanks a lot. Hope you come back to the stream." But yeah, so guys, we can have we can disagree politically about whom we choose to vote for or not, but as long as we keep it respectful, that's cool. Rez King says hi from Oregon. What's up, Rez? What part of Oregon are you from? Portland. Sorry if I'm guessing up the only city that I know, but of course I'm gonna ask Portland, right? Because frankly, most of us on the East Coast don't know doesn't do not know too much about Oregon. I know about Portland, Oregon, and I know about my favorite computer game from the early '80s, the Oregon Trail. That's the extent of my Oregon knowledge. He said coast. No, I don't even like going through Portland. Yeah, I've heard Portland has some issues. but I but for the life of me, I can't remember any other major city. So unfortunately. And then there was that show that some people like that I never watched, never thought was funny was Portlandia. So I think a lot of people think Oregon because of that show Portlandia that used to be big 10 years ago. I never really saw the humor in it. Thanks, Pascal. The Goonies. Oh, that was yeah. The Goonies. That was supposed good. Good reference. Good reference. The Goonies. I didn't. I didn't remember that was supposed to be in Oregon. Good reference there. Um, what part of Oregon were they supposed to be from? Uh, Spence says, why does Kevin Hart have so few viewers? It's crazy. Well, because if I were Kevin Hart, I would have many viewers. So try again. Besides that, I'm significantly taller than Kevin Hart, but what I have over him in height, he has over me in quadruple amounts in income. So I appreciate it, Pascal. Thank you. Astoria. Okay, off to work. Have a good night, man. Thanks, Rez. Hope you come back. And a guy named Sven really shouldn't make jokes. But anyway, um, and, and I'm assuming Pascal, you speak English because If you don't, I'm sorry. If I because I had a whole conversation with you a few minutes ago, and I'm not even sure if you understood what I was saying. Warn me when it hits 12, please. Yeah, so I'm gonna cut this off at 12, guys. Well, it's like 11:42 here, Eastern Standard Time here in Maryland. So around 12, I'm probably gonna start to uh, start to end things. Unless it gets really interesting, then I'll keep it going. But usually there's a drop off around that time for most folks, because I have people watching from the West Coast, people watching from the East Coast, people watching from different parts of Europe and Asia and even Australia. I haven't, let's see, I've yet to get anyone from like New Zealand or other parts of the Pacific aside from the Philippines. I've had people from the Philippines, Japan, um, I think there was someone from Korea too. I think, but do I have any other questions? Because remember, guys, this is Ask Me Anything Friday, Part Two, Electric Boogaloo. So if you want to ask me any appropriate questions of substance, then I'll be more than happy to answer them. I don't care if they're personal questions, political questions, philosophical questions, current event questions, whatever. It's all good. So, guys, any questions? It's funny, a lot of the trolls do ask questions. They're just like inappropriate ones, but I have to admit, some of the trolls have asked a lot of questions. But like I said, if there's a drop off in the participation after 12, then I'm gonna probably end it there. But if not, we can keep it going as long as there's like, you know, a back and forth communique. Ava says, "Hey, I'm Ava, and I want to remind you that Jesus loves you." Appreciate it, Ava. Hope you're doing well. It's me says I'm on day 10 with COVID. I feel like crap. Sorry to hear that. Hope you are doing what you need to do to recover, make a swift recovery. I, um, that is a reminder to a lot of people that people are still catching COVID, guys. It's still a problem, even now in 2024. They've actually been discussing recently in the news whether they should whether they should start recommending another mandated booster. Um, I think it's going to be hard to convince a lot of people now in 2024 that the boosters are necessary after we find out so much about the disingenuous information that Dr. Anthony Fauci was given to the public at the time. So I think it's going to be a harder sell. And he really did public health a disservice because his misinformation and his and he and the Biden administration's handling of social media outlets and how they talked about the pandemic at the time, it soured a lot of people on it. Tony C says Fauci is a liar. Yeah, pretty much. And they try to say, well, look how well he handled the AIDS epidemic. He didn't really handle that well either. He put out a lot of misinformation during that era too. Like for instance, during the AIDS epidemic in the 80s, they tried to scare people by saying, well, hey, this is not just a gay disease, guys. Anyone can get this, which was which was true but misleading. It was true that yes, anyone can get it, but it was misleading and making people think that there was an equal probability of that happening. Heterosex was not likely to lead to AIDS. Less likely, I should say, much less likely. But they wanted to prevent a lot of the social stigma of the disease that was going around because it was prevalent in the homosexual male community at the time. So to try to divert that stigma away from them, they tried to put out back in the 80s that everyone was at equal risk for this disease, and that simply just wasn't true. Flash, flash forward like 40 years, and this is the same guy mishandling another epidemic, the COVID epidemic, or pandemic rather. I'm sorry. And again, he's putting out bad information. Like he started it off by telling people they don't need to mask up. They simply needed to keep washing their hands and maintain a safe maintain social distance from people. Then they said, "Hey, you guys need to start wearing masks, but only the N95 or KN95 mask will prevent the transmission of the disease." Then they changed and said, "No, well, actually, you just need to wear a mask. It doesn't matter what kind, just wear a mask. Doesn't matter whether it's a surgical N95 mask or just a cloth mask. Any sort of barrier around your mouth and nose will reduce the likelihood of transmission of the disease." Then they said, well, that's not good enough. Actually, you need to wear two masks to prevent the transmission. So everyone started wearing two masks. Two masks. I feel really dumb believing that. um, then it got to, well, if you've gotten your shot and your booster, you no longer need a mask, um, but you should still social distance. So they told us that. Then it was like, well, no. Then it went to, even if you got your your initial vaccine and your boosters, you still need a mask. So at that point, I just stopped. And then they wanted to control who could say what about the origins of the pandemic on social media, and they were shadow banning people. They were kicking people off platforms. They were demonetizing people on places like YouTube and stuff like that. And we found out it's because the Biden administration was actually coming to these corporate leaders of these platforms and telling them, we want you to only allow certain information to be getting out about this, and anything that strays from what we are saying is the official story is to be considered misinformation. So Fauci is full of shit, and he lied in saying that his under when he led the NIH that they did not do gain of function research. I'm sorry, they did not um, fund gain of function research in different places like Wuhan, China, and they did. So he didn't. So what he did when he had to admit that yes, they did actually give funding for research in the labs of Wuhan. Then he went into this tortured argument trying to prove that what was essentially gain of function research wasn't actually gain of function research. So the dude is a liar. So he's a liar, and he set public health back because now there's going to be a lot of people more skeptical about information coming from the government when it regards public health, because we're going to have more of these incidents. Reggie says, I sub to your cause um, because you're so nice. Thank you, Reggie. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it a lot. It's me says, thanks for taking time to talk about it. Oh, no problem. Like I said, I hope you feel better. Hope you doing whatever um you have to take so you can make a full recovery. Hopefully you don't get afflicted with the so-called long COVID. I think it's still a matter of debate whether there is actually long COVID or not. I'll also say that staying fit will prevent um, COVID from being, afflicting you too harshly. I've already had family members come down with COVID. Ask Mrs. Contrarian; she can tell you. As far as I know, I haven't had it, or if I did have it, I was asymptomatic and never knew I had it. But as far as I know, I've never had it. Can't, can't fuck with my white blood cells. I'm joking, but no, I don't think if I've ever had it within these last 4 years, I was asymptomatic, so I wouldn't have been able to tell, or I had what I thought was a cold at the time might have been COVID, and I just didn't know because the symptoms were so minor that I just assumed it was a regular cold. That's the problem. You can't. It's hard to tell unless if you get it really badly whether you're just coming down with a regular cold or seasonal flu, or if it's actually COVID. You wouldn't be able to tell unless you got the actual testing. And at the time, the hospitals were bogged down, so if you just had minor aches from a cold or a flu, it probably wouldn't have benefited you to go to the hospital at the time back in 2020 and 2021. Reggie says, no problem. I'm just trying to make sure that the people who are alive are happy and smiling and safe. That's cool. Emily says, hi. What's up, Emily? Remember me? I do. Guys, as soon as I get off here, I'm turning on the fan. Only reason I won't play the fan now is I did it once during a live stream, and it's very the noise really interferes with the audio. And I only did it that time because our AC was broken at the time, and it was like 90 degrees inside the house. And I'm not joking. It was like 90 degrees inside the house, and this was in the evening, not during the daytime. And I'm surprised no one asked me about the big fan on the wall. Not my house or not my art. Someone did tell me they thought this was from the Philippines, though, and I actually don't know because this has been in the house for like literally decades. Kevin says, "Hey, from Houston, Texas. What's up, Kevin? What's going on down there in Houston tonight?" That's another place I've been meaning to go to is Texas, and I'm gonna be honest. I think I want to go there just for some food. He said, hot as f even at night." Oh, I know. Oh, I know it. We've been having a heat wave in Maryland for the last couple of weeks. It's actually cooled off a little bit because of the rain, but Yeah, it's been pretty miserable here. Like it's funny. I plan on moving to the Pacific pretty soon, where it's pretty hot out there. But I might need to start thinking about moving up north. You see, yeah, Texas food is the best, bro. Yeah. I, I mean, one thing I think is required that I eat. I think it's a requirement if I go to Texas. It has to be chili. I think that's probably a requirement is to get some chili. Chili, some authentic Tex-Mex, um, some Angus beef, right? I, those are three things I can think off the top: chili, Tex-Mex, and some real Texas barbecue beef. Definitely. Then there's a lot of places I want to like historical sites to visit in Texas. Gotta go to the altar of Chuck Norris. I'm joking. But no, yeah, but no, in all seriousness, that is one of my states that are on my itinerary before I leave the states. It's quite a few so far now. So I say like Texas, uh, but like Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, uh, Nebraska, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Arizona, New Mexico, um, Idaho, and Iowa. Those are a lot of places. Chica says, "LOL." There's an altar of Chuck Norris out there. No, I was joking about that. That's just a joke because people might remember Chuck Norris back in the '90s during the TV show Tech the what's it Walker Texas Ranger, and he is actually from I can't remember Texas or Oklahoma, but was like I think he was born in Oklahoma and raised in Texas, if I remember correctly. I read his autobiography back when I was in high school, and he's actually part Native American. His real name, Chuck Norris' real name is Carlos, I believe. Rahul says, "Do you support Palestine or Israel?" I support Israel, but I think it's a false dilemma because I don't think you have to support one or the other. You can be just for human rights, but Palestine currently isn't an actual state. Israel is. I mean, you have right now you have the Gaza and you have the West Bank, and of course you have the PLO. So the PLO is recognized by the UN, but I think no, actually. So I'm also the UN as of this year, I believe, started recognize Palestine as a sovereign state. But I don't know in what regards they do because, like I said, it's not a. They don't have a. But they don't have a lot of things. But like I said, you have the Gaza on one end and the West Bank on the other. Um, but yeah, that's my answer. Chica says, "Hi, that would have been cool." Press places yeah, Carlos Ray Norris equals Chuck Norris. Right, like I said, Carlos Ray Norris was his real name. He changed it to Chuck, I think, when he went into entertainment as an actor. But yeah, he's part American Indian. I remember his story of how he started his martial arts journey was I think he used to get bullied by a full blooded Indian when he was younger, and he had to learn how to be tough by dealing with this bully who was, like I said, was a full-blooded Native American Indian. Um, like I said, I think he was born in Oklahoma and grew up in Texas, but I was joking because like he's made a lot of movies showing his Texas roots, like Lone Wolf McQuade and all these other sort of things. And then, like I said, you have Walker, Texas Ranger. There was like a famous but cheesy show in the '90s, and it stayed on for a long time. Rahul says yes, good. Palestine, yeah. Well, I'm not going to repeat that. Press Play says the UN granted Palestine non-member observer state status, but doesn't recognize it as a full sovereign state. Recognition varies among member states. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. That's yeah. So that happened this year. The granted Palestine non-member observer state status. Right. That sounds accurate. Um, but again, yeah, they seem like they gave them more recognition than they did Taiwan. But I don't want to go there with Taiwan. I don't want to open up that can of worms either. Chica says, "Have you been to the Philippines? If so, did you learn any of the martial arts out there?" Yes, I have visited the Philippines. I've lived there. I am returning there soon, sooner rather than later. And I did learn. Uh, I did take martial arts out there. I did a little session where I learned some modern arnis out there. So yep. And I think I've posted something. I think I posted some pictures in my community tabs. If you want to check it out, you can go to my community tabs. It's way down. As I posted this like almost 2 years ago, but I do have pictures of me actually practicing modern arnis, which is Filipino martial arts, there in at Rizal Park in Manila. Actually, I've been trying to get back in touch with that group. Mrs. Contrarian knows I was actually asking her, can she call that those people up when they gave us their information so that I could get up with them and take some more lessons with them. But I don't know if Mrs. Contrarian was able to reach them because I definitely wanted to go back there for like some more instruction, like actually maybe take some formal classes with them instead of just doing a seminar. And they did it. They gave it to me for free, by the way. They gave me a free lesson there, so that was awesome because you know they could have charged me like a little seminar price for it, but they did it for free, and they let me take pictures with them as they were honoring a guest there. Like they were actually honoring a grandmaster at the time at Rizal Park, and let me take pictures with all of them. So that was good stuff, and it just goes again to show how gracious Filipinos are. So, like I said, they're some of the friendliest people I've ever met, and I've been to places where people are really friendly, and I think Philippines are probably the friendliest. Like the people in Taiwan were really friendly too. They were really friendly. The Japanese were friendly, but it's different. It's more like they're friendly, but it's it's more like because it's expected. But with these other folks, the friendliness was just like natural. So it wasn't like a formality. It was like that was just their disposition. Chica says, "What would you recommend for knife fighting? Other practical weapons?" I mean, hands down, Filipino martial arts is going to be a best bet for knife fighting. And there's different forms of Filipino martial arts. Like Filipino martial arts is just the umbrella term that Dan and Santo coin, Giro Dan and Santo, because there's a lot of like um, contention within the Philippines of what they call Filipino martial arts. Like up north, they call it arnis. In the Visayas, they refer to it mostly as eskrima, and in the southern Philippines, they refer to it as kali. But they're all the same arts, but they refer to it in different ways. And they're probably gonna be the best ones to give you knife instruction, other than going to like get like tactical training somewhere here in the U.S. Like you can get some tactical training here in the U.S. But a good place to start is Filipino martial arts. Is it? Chigas is pretty cool. I'll check it out. Yeah, no problem. Press places. I'm hearing a Northeast accent, not New York, not New Jersey, not in England. I'm going against Baltimore. Well, yeah, I've already said I'm from Baltimore, but some people from here think I'm from New Jersey as well. People from Baltimore can often be confused with people from New Jersey. So, definitely not Virginia. They sound pretty southern. Like once you leave the Northern Virginia area, very southern. Even Northern Virginia, they sound southern because people in DC sound people in DC have a southern accent, more of a mid-Atlantic southern style accent, not deep south like a Texas accent or Virginia Piedmont accent. It's more of a, like I said, mid Atlantic accent. Chica says, "Yeah, dude, that would be dope. Looking to you for guidance because I'm unable to travel now, but would like to travel to learn in the future." Yeah, while you're in the States, there's plenty of places you can find to teach Filipino martial arts. Pretty much anyone that comes under the Inosanto lineage, when that and these schools typically teach Filipino martial arts, Jeet Kune Do, Muay Thai, um, combat submission wrestling, stuff like that. You're good to go. Like find a place under the under the Inosanto lineage, and you'll find a place that teaches Filipino martial arts. Chica says, "Yeah, I heard of something with the Kali name in it. Kali is just Kali is the native name for the martial arts, right? So eskrima is the Spanish word. So a lot of people reject the word eskrima because they want to reject the colonialism of using Spanish words in the Philippines. So they rather refer to it by the more native term Kali, and some in the north prefer Arnis, which is more of a Tagalog word. Tagalog is Tagalog is the many of the people in the Luzon region of the Philippines are of the Tagalog people, and it's a language. And technically, the Filipino language, the national language, is Tagalog, but it's not pure Tagalog. It's it uses a lot of loan words from like English and Spanish, whereas pure Tagalog is a spoken in a specific region of the northern Philippines. And most of the people in the region around Manila, Bulacan, Tarlac, Cavite, Batangas, Rizal, Laguna, Pampanga, all these places. Most of them are Tagalog people. Press play says, "Well, I did not know that. I just guessed." He said, "You sound a little bit like Kevin LeBron." I don't know who Kevin LeBron is. I'm guessing that's like a professional athlete. J.A.C says evening, kind of midnight here, but yeah, still evening, I guess. I don't know what Fidelis is saying. He said, "Bom dia, mi amigo." I think that means have a good day, my friend. I think if so, thank you, Fidelis. Sorry, I know French better than Spanish. Um, Red Alias says, indeed, uh, God loved the world so much that he, and we know the rest for people who grew up in the church. J.A.C says, just rewatched Concussion, never seen it, so interesting. Uh, I think so. That's the movie with Will Smith when he plays a football player who suffers from CTE, and I think that movie caught a lot of flack from the NFL. They did a lot to try to damage the the showing of that movie. So if I think that's I, I think that's the movie you're referring to. I saw that several years ago. Press play says Kevin LeBron, IFBB, bodybuilder might be the greatest competitor ever. Oh, my bad. I didn't know that. Chica says, thanks as always for answering my questions. Also on the topic of traveling for someone doing it solo, how would you go about it? Would you meet up with people over there or just go and explore? It will honestly, it depends on where you're going and how long you're going. If you're going somewhere solo, first of all, solo is the best way to travel because you don't want to wait on a friend to make sure they can come with you or a group of friends or a group of strangers, whatever. However, there are group trips that people plan that you can do. I mean, they're like travel groups that put together trips that people can do if they don't want to travel solo. So you can. That's always an option. You can do that, or like I said, I think solo is the best way to travel. And what you can do is just kind of do your research and put together an itinerary of things you want to do and places you want to go while you're there. But the easiest way to do it is to try find a travel guide for where you're going, someone who's been vetted by someone else you know. If you can find someone else who can vet this travel guide for you, then that would be good. They can drive you from all these places, and we've done it. So find a good travel guide. Solo traveling is the best. Mrs. Contrarian says yes to solo traveling 100. GJC says, yeah, Will Smith plays the doctor who discovered CTE. That same doctor now works for the WWE and banned a lot of moves and stunts like chair shots to the head. No wonder WWE is so boring now. No, I'm just joking, but WWE back in the day used to be wild when it was still the WWF. Um, I thought Will Smith played the. I didn't know he played the doctor. I thought he played the player who was suffering from the CTE. Mrs. Contrarian, I think it's over 12 now, right? So should we keep it going or wrap it up? Well, we might as well just go to make it a clean 2 hours since we're close to 2 hours anyway. Chica says, thanks, man. Feeling inspired as always. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Have a good night. You too, Chica. Thank you. Like I said, you can find some of these places, some of these tour guides on if you have Facebook, who doesn't nowadays, right? But you can find some of these tour guides on Facebook or Instagram. Like I said, just make sure they're vetted by other people, um, just to for your own safety concerns. But yeah, I found my friends some tour guides in Thailand that they've used. Um, we used a tour guide in Bali, and we're gonna when we go back again, we'll probably use him again. Very professional, very friendly. So I think that's the best way to do it. Go solo, have more fun. But yeah, guys, any more travel questions? I'll be more than happy to answer that, or martial arts questions. Let me get a sip of water. My um, losing my voice. All right. J.A.C says if you go back to Bali, I recommend Putu and Ria's place, local couple who host tours. Um, that's cool. We did a homestay last time in Ubud, Bali, at Tejada, the Tejada homestay. I think it's Tejada or Tejada. I don't know how you pronounce it there, but I think it's Tejada. Tejada, homestay. Really nice, really nice spot. The only problem with that homestay was sometimes when sometimes when excuse me, losing my voice. Sometimes when we were walking back from the homestay at night, um, oh Tejas, I'm sorry, it's Tejas homestay, Teja. But yeah, the only problem we had with the homestay was when we were coming back at night. Sometimes there were stray dogs that tried to chase us. I was like, they need to feed these animals, and unfortunately for us, this is a largely a Hindu island, so I'm pretty sure these dogs haven't had enough meat to eat, and they're looking for fresh meat. So they these dogs were like chasing us, and it's funny because they remind me of the dogs in the Philippines, but the Philippine dogs are nicer. Like they don't chase people. At least from my experience, Mrs. Contrarian might have differing views on that, but every stray dog I've seen in the Philippines tend to be friendly and not um, chasing people. Maybe they chase people at night or when they go out for a jog, but they didn't chase people if you were just walking by. But these little Balinese dogs were savage. they they chased us. Hmm. Oh, I haven't heard the War Machine question in a long time. Ms. Contrarian, I haven't seen any of the Erics in a while. I wonder if they still watch. There was like Eric Alvarado, and then there was Eric H. And then there was the other Eric. I haven't seen any of them lately. I seen one Eric pop up, I think last week or the week before last, but I don't see them as often. Maybe because I'm doing this later. But even when I've live streamed earlier during the evening, I haven't seen them. So I hope they're still watching. If not, I understand. Maybe it just got repetitive for them. And Mrs. Needle probably will be watching too, but I know she's like under the weather. Like she told me she never made it to the hospital. She said she got rejected 3 times, but I think she said she did end up going to a clinic or something like that. But she got rejected from, which this is weird. See, I guess that's sort of the drawback of free healthcare is that, um, or universal healthcare is like, I guess they can refuse you service sometimes. Whereas if you're a paying patient, they won't. But yeah, guys, I'm probably gonna wrap this up soon, unless I get some more, questions. When this is trying, so what Tejas homestay is the J silent, like in Spanish, like Teja, or is it like a Or do you pronounce the J like Teja? I don't mind giving them a shout out because they were an awesome place. I love the breakfast in the morning. That was so good with the Balinese coffee. Just what we needed in the morning, right? um, so the breakfast was awesome. The the loft they gave us was pretty dope. Only problem I had with the loft was the uh the toilet hose was like super strong. GJC says I'm going to bed and have a good night, Mr. and Mrs. Contrarian. Thanks, GJC. You have a good one as well. Yeah, we're about to hit the well, I'm about to hit the hay. She's about to do whatever she does during the daytime on Saturdays. Oh, she's about to give me some gossip. That's what she's about to do. Because I'm not gonna let her forget that. Yeah, the bidet. Yeah, the bidet hose that will that will cleanse you. Like that that will cleanse you. Like that thing that like, that thing was on like that's like Tim the Toolman Taylor must have fixed that bidet hose more. You probably won't catch the reference, Mrs. Contrarian, because I know you didn't watch American sitcoms in the '90s, but people who know I'm talking about this TV show Home Improvement know Tim the Toolman Taylor, played by the comedian Tim Allen. He will always like say he wanted to fix something, then give it more power. Pascal says, "Vous parlez le français?" Um, un petit peu. Bada Bing says, "Hey bro, can you give my best friend a shout out?" No. Drop it in the super chat, Bada Bing. Nice try though. Guys, you think I'm as dumb as some of these other people. Pascal says Lemu. Excuse me. Pascal Lemu says okay, merci. Yeah, just a little bit of French, Pascal, not a lot. I haven't because I really haven't been able to use it since high school. I took 5 years of French from middle school to high school and haven't used it since. And my French teacher told me back then, Pascal, if I want to learn French, I need to actually go somewhere that's a French speaking place for a significant amount of time so I can actually just do nothing but speak French. So France has been on my bucket list for a long time. So I will be going, and hopefully I actually get to exercise my my use of français because I've lost a lot of it. So peut-être. So c'est je suis en français vous. Remember I said so I'm here in the US, I'm in Maryland, des États-Unis. But yeah, um in Maryland, by the way. Miss Contreras is almost 12:30, so it's time for me to wrap it up, guys. But if you, I'm willing to, I'll stay on 5 more minutes if you guys have any more questions. Um, any sort of questions, as long as they're appropriate, of course. Any sort of appropriate questions, I will answer those. Pascal says, "Touche banglas." Thanks. I mean, I try. I know my French is off though. You're being nice because I know my French is horrible, but I appreciate it. I do need to work on it. I actually used to put so I have a old fashioned paper organizer, And in a lot of stuff, I actually put my notes in French in my organizer. Um, but like I said, aside from that, I really don't speak it, and I haven't saw any movies where I could like hear it being spoken that often anymore either. But I will continue practicing for the time I get there. Or if I do get there, I'll just try to speak nothing but French while I'm there in France. Pascal says, vous avez une femme or hum? You said, do I have a girl or a boy? You talking about, you talking about, you talking about, do I have a child, like a girl or a boy, or are you referring to like my wife? You saying, do I have a man? Am I with a man or a woman? Yeah, I'm only with women, but um, I don't know if you're asking if I have any children. I don't have any children, but um, but I do have a wife, Mrs. Contrarian. Mademoiselle Contrarian. Et vous mariez? Okay. Yes. Yes, we are married. That's why her online YouTube handle is Mrs. Contrarian. So people know that we're part of the same, or we're married, but we're also part of the same, in the same YouTube space. Like we're debating whether she should have her own channel or whether she should just make content and upload it here. So that's a discussion we'll have. But I'm about to go, Pascal. It's pretty late here. It's past midnight. Um, and she and I have some of the stuff to discuss before I go to sleep. But if anyone else has any questions before I go, I'll give it like 1 to 2 more minutes. Since I said I would give it five. Pascal says shut down for Fort Moncur. I appreciate it. um, Speaking of which, that reminds me. I want some next time I go to the store. I want some Madeleines. Well, probably I'll get them from Starbucks, but I want some Madeleines. I love those, especially with coffee. Madeleines and coffee is great. I really like Madeleines and cafe. Cafe. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for me, guys. If anyone's still like writing a question, I'll give it I'll give it a minute, and then after that, if you guys have any more questions, go ahead and leave it in the comment section, and I'll find it. Um, and for people who watch it on the replay, that's cool. Um, you can watch the replay and leave any comments there. Pascal says he is gay. I have nothing against it. Do you know? Do what you do, as long as it's consenting. I have no problem with what grown folks do. Consenting grown folks do. I have no problem with it. Hala uh, says hi. Yeah, I'm not feeding into that joke though, so nice try with that. I don't know why Gen Zs think they can keep getting people with that. I've already looked that up. Like everyone knows that setup now. Pascal says, "Merci beaucoup à vous, uh, Darian." Stay positive, my friend. I'm gonna go, guys. As it gets late, it'll just be like a constant. It'll as it gets later, it just reaches a point of diminishing returns as far as communication with people because it's going to be mostly like trolls and stuff like that. So, all right, Pascal. Thanks, man. So, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Again, if you have any other thoughts, questions, concerns, queries, criticisms, leave it in the comment section. Um, if you want to see the rest of this live stream, you can watch it on the replay, watch it from the beginning. And I have plenty of other content you can watch as well. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so. Also, you can share the video so that other people can see it and help me grow this channel to get the algorithm going. You know, my next goal, well, my immediate goal for right now is to be able to have ad revenue on here. So I'm still short a few public watch hours to um, getting ad revenue. So once I do that, I'm on to my next stage, which is I want to get 10,000 subs. So I'm trying to get to 10,000 subs right now, guys. So help me by growing this channel by liking and subscribing and sharing. You can also hit the notifications, um, so you'll know when I'm uploading new content. And you can go watch all the other stuff I've uploaded in the past. I talk about current events. I talk about science. I talk trash about just random stuff. I talk about traveling. I talk about martial arts. And I have videos of me doing martial arts or talking about martial arts training or martial arts myths. I have some videos up of either me traveling or Mrs. Contrarian traveling. She does a lot more traveling within the Philippines than I do. So you can check out a lot of stuff um, that she's that I've put on the channel with her on it. Pascal says at demand Bisu. Thanks. Be looking forward to you tomorrow. John Bet Davis is where are you from, bruv? I'm from Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, in the U.S. John Bet David says Hala is a girl name, I suppose. I'm not even sure. I'm pretty sure that's a guy though, John. It's a the whole the thing he's asking. It's a setup. It's a joke here in America where you answer it and then it, I don't know. People here are weird. Like you answer and then they say the first one who responds is gay or something like that. It's a really like childish online thing that they do. But Hala is more than likely a guy and uh, probably an incel. But I'm actually about to wrap it up, John. But like I said, if you want to catch this in its entirety, I'm about to end it. But you'll see it all. You can see it all on the replay once it's uploaded. Um, Nelly says day two of spreading kindness until my depression clears up. You look really positive. Keep it up. Well, I'll say to you, Nelly, if you want to if you want to clear up your depression, go offline and do some hit the gym. That'll do more for you than going on these live streams. hit the gym, my friend. A lot of these gym memberships now, whether you talk about Planet Fitness or these other gym franchises, they offer memberships to gyms for like as low as $10 or $15 a month. Some of them even have specials for $5 a month, like Planet Fitness. If you catch that discount, man, that'll be hitting the gym or just doing some road runs. If you don't want to go to the gym, just lacing up the sneakers and going out for a jog every day will do way more for you to clear up your depression than spreading love online. Because online can be a savage place, especially for someone who has pre-existing conditions that can make them more sensitive to a lot of the negative energy that people put out online. So I would recommend you spending more time offline and doing stuff like maybe hitting the gym, being physically active will do a lot to clear up your clinical depression because you're talking to someone who's suffered from clinical depression. Exercise, physical activity will do a lot more for you. And the best way is to hit the gym. Either hit the gym or sign up for like maybe some martial arts lessons if you can afford it. But if not, just hit the gym. It's like $10, $15 a month. John says Maryland, yeah, uh, um, a lot of okay lets me be silent, bro. Okay, I didn't catch that. He said I was there, near NYC. Well, Maryland, depending on what part you're talking about, I'm in Baltimore. Is like three and a half 3.5 hours away from New York City, and that's in good traffic. Nelly says it's not possible, man. Yes, it is. You're talking to someone who beat clinical depression. Your problem with clinical depression is you're online. Online is not a Being online is not a healthy place for someone with clinical depression. You just spend less time offline. I'm pretty sure you're a younger person. Spend less time online, more time being physically active. I'm telling you, you need you need to get some sunshine every day. Go outside, get some sunshine every day. Get about 10, 20 minutes of sunshine every day. And in that time, you could be like going for a walk or for a jog and hit the gym. It's possible to hit the gym. Every place has a Planet Fitness or or some other similar type of um, fitness gym. And most of these places offer memberships as low as 10, $15 a month. And a lot of these places are 24-hour gyms, so there's really no excuse that people can offer that they can't go to the gym. It's like, okay, either stay home as a shut-in, being online all day, and dealing with all the negative energy that comes out of being online, or instead download a exercise app, hit the gym, and get over. Not only will you get over your depression, but you're making yourself more physically fit. Mental mental fitness and physical fitness are inextricably linked, right? Mental fitness follows physical fitness. I'm going to say it again. Mental fitness follows physical fitness. Mental fitness follows physical fitness. Mental fitness follows physical fitness. Those who are physically fit are also mentally fit. If you want to get clear up your depression, go to the gym or hit the road with those sneakers every day and do a jog or a run. So, and near Philly, okay. Yeah, Philly is like about an hour and a half away from here. He said, "Do you have a gym membership?" Yes. Nelly says my max squat is 200 as 13 years old. It's nothing no more. It doesn't matter. It's you. The point isn't. That's a secondary goal is your gains. Your primary reason to go to the gym isn't for gains, not for you. Your primary reason is for better health, including your mental health. That's your primary goal. Then your secondary goal can be gains, but it's more important that you are hitting the gym 3, 4 times a week than worrying about how much you can bench, how much you can squat, how much you can deadlift, how much you can clean and press, all those sorts of things. Those come later. The problem is start the focus right now is creating a habit of physical fitness. We want to create the habit of you being hitting the gym, being physically fit. That's the primary goal. Then after that, then the goal can be your secondary goal can be achieving gains. If you need motivation, look at people like Joey Swole, who puts out a lot of positive stuff. Joey Swole. There's a bunch of bodybuilders and former bodybuilders, excuse me, that have channels, or you might find them having accounts on Instagram and Facebook. Um, whatever you need to seek that motivation. Anyway, I'm about to go, guys. I'm tired. John Beth Davis says you're a good sport coach. Thanks. Nelly says I have no purpose in life because my squat is 200 and people just say I look stronger and could care less. First of all, who cares what other people think? Stop worrying about them. At the end of the day, are these people paying your bills? Are these people putting food in your mouth to make sure you're okay? Who cares? Forget other people. Unless they're paying your bills, putting a roof over your head, putting food in your mouth, signing your checks, um, forget them and stop looking. Your problem is that you think you have to have a purpose in life. You don't have to have a purpose in life to live purposefully. To live purposefully means you have goals and you make plans to achieve those goals. That's how you live purposefully, but you don't have to worry about some sort of spiritual purpose in life thing. I think that's a mistake. So, see, I'm 13 too. I do work out. Okay, good. Keep it up. But also make sure you're getting some fresh air every day, going outside during the daytime, getting some sun, 10 to 20 minutes every day. That 10 to 20 minute sunshine is like a natural antidepressant. John says it's a big country. True. So what's the thing behind you? It's just some sort of fan, like artsy type thing from a long time ago. So also Planet Fitness is hella ghetto. Not necessarily. It depends where you live. If you go to a Planet Fitness in a ghetto place, then yes, it's going to be more ratchet. But if you go to a Planet Fitness in a nice place, it's not going to be ratchet. Planet Fitness gets a bad rap. Like, it depends on your neighborhood. If you go to a Planet Fitness in a ghetto neighborhood, then it's going to be ghetto. But if you go to one in a nice neighborhood, it's going to be nice. It's more. It says more about the neighborhood than it says about the Planet Fitness. It's like McDonald's. Like, McDonald's in the hood sucks, but McDonald's in a really nice area doesn't. It says more about the neighborhood than it does about the store, right? Same thing with the gym. It says more about the neighborhood than it says about the gym. So I'd rather not get mugged while working out. Again, that's your community. That has nothing to do with Planet Fitness. Although I think you're just being facetious. John Beth Davis says they are closer to each other than in Florida. Well, yeah, but Florida is a that's not a that's not a very good comparison, John, because from where I live in Maryland, Florida is a day drive. Like if I wanted to go to Florida from here, it would be like a day drive. So yes, they're comparatively close, but people who live in the Northeast, they don't like traveling hours and hours and hours. That's what people in the South will do that. People in the South will drive 2, 3, 4 hours to get to a destination. People in the people in the Northeast aren't going to do that. Like someone in Boston is not driving, just not driving to Baltimore or DC like 5 hours, 5, 6 hours away. They're just going to fly. Like anything longer than like 3 or so hours, I prefer just flying. John says a man without a thing to do will be sad. Maybe. Will Z Pie Z says nice 1980s fan on the wall, bro. Well, yeah, because well, I'm currently staying in a grandparents' home. So, yeah, they have old fashioned decor in the house. A lot of old fashioned decor. Like my grandmother's in her late 80s. So, John says it's a hobby. I like these kinds of trips. That's cool. But again, I'm not traveling. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing a road trip, but if I'm a road trip, I'm going to drive out west towards the western United States. I'm not driving through the Northeast because city driving along the freeways of the Northeast are puts this is like one that puts a lot of wear and tear on your vehicles, and two is exasperating, like traveling up I-95. So Will says my mom said the same fan. That's what's up. Someone asked me, was this from the Philippines? And I said, I don't know because she's had this since the 80s. I don't know where it was made, but she bought it here because my grandmother doesn't travel. So she bought it here somewhere, but I can't say if it was from the Philippines. John says, in my trip to India, I saw a lot of these fans. Yeah, so it probably is from overseas. I'm pretty sure that it is. I just can't say where because someone asked me from the Philippines a few days ago, and I said I don't know. It could be just as easily made in China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, any of those places. They use it to collect mangoes and etc. In India, I guess they have mangoes in India. I didn't consider it because I mean the Indian subcontinent is rather large. I guess they probably would have places that have mangoes. When I think of mangoes, I always think of though like like the Philippines or the Pacific Islands when it comes to mangoes. I don't think of India, but yeah, I'm sure they probably have mangoes as well. Anyway, guys, I stayed on longer than I was expecting to, so I'm gonna end it here. It's about 2 hours and 30 minutes since I've been on, and it's almost 1 o'clock here in the United States. So I'm gonna go. Again, if you want to check this out from the beginning, you can see the replay once I upload this. And don't be afraid to like and subscribe. share the video, um, or hit the bell for notifications on future videos. And you can always leave me a super thanks. I always will appreciate a nice super thanks. Or you can send me a Cash App. The link will be in my description once I upload this. The um, the link for my Cash App or Venmo or Buy Me a Coffee. It's an app where you can actually send me money to buy me a coffee, because everyone who's ever seen me on my live streams earlier during the day know that I drink a lot of coffee. So any tip is appreciated for my buying me a coffee, as well as either Cash App or my super thanks on the channel. So thanks guys. Thanks for watching. I'm out, about to go to sleep, but I need to stay up so I can talk to the wife. Take care.